Today's TRS episode is just what the thumbnail promises you. My friend Sarvesh Shashi is one of India's hottest young entrepreneurs, and he claims that he's done this through his practice of celibacy. He's followed the no sex and no fap rule for 9 years, and he genuinely believes that it's given him kind of a superpower to go achieve his dreams. So, through the length of his podcast, I'm going to ask him all the questions that you are thinking of. How did he do it? What does he feel from inside? Does he feel horny or lust at any point during his life? And he's given some very inspirational, very deep answers. I promise you, watch the entire podcast. You will come out a different human being at the end of it. Also, keep in mind that in the comment section, I'm going to link the different sections of this podcast. And also keep in mind that the description has the audio link of the podcast. Enjoy yourselves. Sarvesh Shashi on The Ranveer Show. We're on The Ranveer Show. We're talking no fap. We're talking no sex. We're talking yoga. We're talking about the benefits of all these worlds on the human mind and how to build a multi-million-dollar business out of those benefits. Sarvesh Shashi.
Thank you so much, Ranveer, for having me on your show. It's amazing.
Bro, it's a pleasure having you on The Ranveer Show. I'm going to dig into your mind and these last 9 years where you've practiced celibacy, brahmacharya, how you have been trained deeply in yoga, and how you set up one of India's biggest yoga startups. Actually, I'll call it a wellness startup.
I think wellness startup is a much better way to put it because yes, the authentic foundation of what we are doing is yoga, but we are trying to build a wellness ecosystem.
And who's invested in the wellness ecosystem?
Quite a lot of people, I'd say about a little over 40.
Crazy.
But the specific ones that you're wanting to know are Jennifer Lopez, Alex Rodriguez, her fiance and partner, Malika Arora, my favorite partner, and we have Shahid Kapoor and Meera Kapoor. They've invested, and Rajnikant's daughter Aishwarya Dhanush as well, amongst many other people who are absolute legends in their specific fields. So it's amazing.
I feel like with something like Diva Yoga, they're looking at two things. Obviously, they look at the business model and the purpose of Diva Yoga, but they're also looking at you as a guy. They're saying that there's something about this brother who's the sole founder of this organization.
Yeah, I think largely when people invest, right, when they put in their money, it's 2-3 things that they look into. One is the founder. Second is this purposeful stroke scalable business, and then the team.
Yeah.
And yes, profitability, bottom line, all of that does come, but largely these first 2-3 points are very critical for them. And Diva Yoga is one, which is all women. It's aspirational, and the mother brand is called Sarva.
Okay.
And Sarva means all or complete.
Got it.
And our vision statement says connecting 7 billion breaths, which is the world.
Yeah.
So, and Sarva is unisex. It's both men and women. It's transformational.
Yeah.
Diva is aspirational.
I'm gonna dive straight into what the audience wants to know. How has your retained semen brought you to this point?
Well, I think, I describe my life into 2 parts. One is a life before 17 and the other is a life after 17. Before 17, I describe my life with the 3 A's, which is arrogance, attitude, and anger. I think as a 6-year-old child, my only aim was to play cricket for the country and win the World Cup as well. So when I was 6, I was super hyper as a child. So my parents thought that putting me into a yoga class will help me balance and focus better, both as an individual and in my game. And I saw a lot of difference in my game for sure. So time went on, life went by, started doing a lot of yoga, the physical aspects of yoga, which is what people think yoga is today. Surya Namaskar meditation, I'm too old, I'm too young to do that, and it's only for women, etc. But when I was 17, my dad took up this yoga class, which he couldn't complete. He paid a lot of money. He said, Sarvesh, you know what, I've paid a lot of money. Just 7-8 sessions left. Just take the class and get done with it. So I was like, okay, fine. Let's not waste money, and went into the class. This guy who was sitting in front of me had long hair, long beard, orange clothes. And I was thinking, okay, he's another godman going to tell me to fall at his feet. He'll show me a halo of lighter on my head and all of that. I was very intrigued as a child about enlightenment and consciousness.
As a child?
As a 17-year-old, whether you want to call it a child or a teen. But I was always intuited about intuition. I wanted to see the future, but very selfish because I thought if I opened my third eye, I'll play for the country faster. Cricket. It was very selfish in nature. When I spoke to my teacher about it, the first thing he told me was, Sarvesh, if you ever think I can enlighten you, you are a fool and I'm a bigger fool. That kind of hit me quite hard. I'm like, wow, this guy's being really honest. I really like him. I want to kind of, understand more, learn more about what he's going to be saying, trying to say, etc. Went to my dad and I said, Dad, really, you know what? I want to continue his classes. Can I? He said, of course, it's a good thing. Please continue. That's how my yoga journey started. After about 30, 45 days of classes, after doing the typical what people think yoga is today, I started doing a lot of sadhanas. Sadhanas in Sanskrit means discipline.
Okay.
So I did a lot of 10, 11, 21 and 40 day sadhanas. For example, you say, I'm going to go on a keto for 21 days, right? You actually follow it. Or you say, I'm not going to do this for 40 days. Or I am going to do this for 10, 11, 21, 40, whatever that is. So I started doing a lot of 10, 11, 21 and 40 day sadhanas. So I've gone silent for 40 days. I used to meditate for 9 hours a day. I've done Vipassana when I was really young. And I've done a bunch of sadhanas. I've not touched people, namaste, not really. Be very, very mindful of whatever I was doing, trying to do, going to do in my game, in my social life, etc. One fine day, my teacher came and told me, Sarvesh, you're doing great. I'm going to be giving you 5 precepts in life. I said, great, tell me what are these 5 precepts. He said, tell me first, will you follow it? I said, I will follow it, no problem. He said, remember Sarvesh, in yoga, संकल्प के ऊपर कोई विकल्प नहीं. I said, मेरे को हिंदी नहीं आता है. What does that mean? He said, which means in yoga, if you commit, it's a commitment. Like no going against your words.
But what happens if you fulfill that commitment? Like, why would you take up those 5 precepts?
So I before I told him that yes, I'll take it up, I had done a lot of 10, 11, 21, 40 days. And every time I did it and completed it, I always got one step ahead in my life in different aspects.
Okay.
Whether it is professionally in my game, where in a year when I thought I'll get dropped from possibly one of the best college teams in the country, I became the captain of the team.
Crazy.
So it was amazing, right? So I said, great. I said, what are these 5 precepts? He said the first one was no intoxication, which is no alcohol, no smoking, no non-veg. Alcohol and smoking was easy because I'd never done it until then. And continuing that was very easy. Meat, I'm a Mallu, so I don't have to talk much how Mallus eat meat. I said, okay, fine, okay, great. Second one was non-violence. Non-violence through actions, thoughts and words. Once a wise man said that a deed is done when the thought is planted. I don't remember genuinely the last time I even killed a mosquito. Third one was no mental and physical stealing. Physical stealing is you physically steal stuff. Mental stealing is, oh, Ranveer has a nice watch, I'd like to have it. I can aspire to do whatever I want to. Buy a car, buy a house, fly in a plane, go for a holiday, that's fine. But not mentally steal stuff from people or whatever. Fourth one was no lying. I can't even white lie. If I'm late because I overslept, I'm late because I overslept, not because there was traffic on the road. Fifth one was by far the most difficult because of 2 reasons. One, because of my age. 2, because of the accessibility I had, which was celibacy.
Which is celibacy? Could you break
Celibacy is, so when I asked my teacher what celibacy meant, he said, Sarvesh, no sex. So I said, okay. I mean, until 18, I've never had sex. So it was easy for me to kind of continue thinking it's going to be for 40 days. So I rhetorically told my teacher, Ki Guruji, I started calling him Guruji. Guruji in Sanskrit, Guru means one who brings you from darkness to light. So I said, Guruji, kar denge? 40 din ke liye kar denge? He said, Sarvesh, not 40 days, 7 years. I'm like, oh, wait. I mean, 7 saal meaning 7 years. He said, yeah. I said, but Guruji, ye mera prime time hai na? If not to do all of the 5 things, but clearly a couple of them.
Yeah.
So he said, Sarvesh, it is your prime time, but to focus on yourself, to build inner strength, inner growth. But it's your choice. I said, no, Guruji, I've told you, yes, I'll do it. And then after a couple of days, he started saying celibacy means no getting physical, no fap, no ensuring, you don't ejaculate, etc., no masturbation.
No ejaculation at all.
No ejaculation at all, no masturbation at all. So I'm like, whoa. I'm like, okay, fine, Guruji, but I've promised you what I promised you. But anyways, so for the first 1.5 years, I was purely doing everything to prove him wrong. The 5 things, which is celibacy, no sex, etc. After 1.5 years, after when I was 19.5, I think it became a way of life. I'm 27 now. I have not broken any of the 5 things.
Crazy. So you started when you were 19?
18.
18. And you had to stop actually 2 years back at 25. but you've
Yes,
taken
I
it beyond.
continue. Yeah. It became a way of life. I started seeing a lot of differences in me, and a lot of things started happening, which was, I think, for the better. I mean, a lot of people think they differentiate between good things and bad things, but I believe in the concept of when there is day, there is night.
Yeah.
So everything happens for a reason, and the reason is the best that could have happened to you. So for me, it was a life of I'm fine. I'll take life as it comes. And I'm a human. I'm not enlightened or anything of that sort. So I do have my days where I feel upset. I am vulnerable, etc. But I think it's all knowing the fact that this will also change.
Yeah, yeah. So you're open to the concept of marriage, probably
Oh
finding a
yeah,
partner
yeah,
at some
yeah,
point.
yeah. Absolutely. I'm open to. I think the best part about what I think I am doing is doing whatever I'm doing in an age and world. People think that you can't, be in a modern world. You can't run a business. So a lot of people say, how can you not lie when you're running a business? I'm like, why should you lie when you're running a business? Like, I don't understand the fact.
100%.
Like, I mean, I think what I've largely built today is because of trust, love, respect, and my ethics and values.
Yeah. And your honest, like, hustle in your work, bro.
Yeah, I think I sleep for probably 5-6 hours maximum a day.
Yeah.
But work like,
Work honestly.
work honestly, yeah.
Coming back to semen retention, bro. There's a lot of bros watching this actually who firstly want to know the benefits. So you said that, I'm sure that it's not just the semen retention and it's your other 4 sadhanas as well.
Also, all of
Yeah.
it together. Yeah.
But what differences have you actually seen in your own internal world? Is your stamina higher? Is your thought process different? What's
Well,
happening?
largely, I mean, the benefits of stamina, and feeling energetic, etc., is great. See, what does semen retention mean is largely taking that energy to your brain, taking it upwards. Instead of having it being released, you're taking it upwards to your head, and which opens up a completely different dimension of creative thought process, right brain activation, so on and so forth.
Can you elaborate on all this a little bit?
Yeah. So I think, what happens is when you practice NoFap or when you're ensuring that there is semen retention happening, that energy moves to your brain. When that energy moves upward towards your brain, what happens is there is a lot of, I'd say, a creative mind space that's opened up, right? There is a lot of science behind it, etc. But I think I'm more practice what I preach. So I'm not getting into the science of it, but more what I've personally kind of felt is whether it's in your profession, whether when I'm playing cricket, whether it's how I watch the ball, to how I bowl, to how I kind of perform, because I think semen retention is hugely also linked to performance. So the peak performance level that you get when you're consciously ensuring semen retention stroke, taking that energy upwards, and that can happen through various asanas, various exercises, etc. It just opens up your creative energy so much that whatever you're doing, specifically when you're in a profession, when you're, whatever profession you're in, right? Whether it's a corporate world, whether it's a creative world, or it can be as simple as being confident in front of people. It's unreal. I mean, you have to practice to experience it.
Yeah,
I can't say all that I've experienced, but you have to practice it. I mean, I'm not even saying years, right? Just do it for 21 days and see how you feel about it.
100%.
Because you feel tired after things happen, right? But
After you
it's-
ejaculate.
Yeah, after you ejaculate, there is a sense of tiredness.
Yeah.
Why? It's a question that I think all of you all should answer. But
Yeah. Also, I feel that, again, I keep saying this in a bunch of our podcasts, that there's a whole world of science that the world of science hasn't discovered yet.
See, I believe in this as a word. I may be wrong. A lot of people may say, "What are you saying?" But what do scientists do? What do you say? Scientists what?
Research?
Why?
Analyze?
Research is the word, right? Which means you never say scientists are searching. Technically, scientists are supposed to search, right?
Got it.
What does research mean? It's already there. They're researching it.
Yeah,
So what's there 5,000 or how many ever years ago, they're researching it.
100%. I feel in the 2020s, we're going to see a lot of discoveries related to
Hopefully,
NoFap.
looking forward. Some few more days to go, but yeah,
Yeah, and we can say that we were part of that movement.
absolutely.
Okay, also, but speaking about NoFap, I'm gonna give like a quick exercise that I've learned from the world of yoga. This is in a bunch of books. I think one of the books written by Osho also mentioned this. So it's basically for you guys who are just starting out on NoFap. It's a very simple yoga. Suppose you are feeling lust, you're feeling horny basically. Okay. So you do feel a certain rush of blood going to your sex organs. The yoga is that you just sit in one place, okay, and you take a deep breath in. And keep in mind, a lot of meditation and yoga is a lot of visualization. So you just visualize that all that energy is actually flowing upward to your spine into your brain. So you breathe in, take it upward into your brain, and then breathe out and imagine that energy spreading through your brain. That's all. It's a very basic yoga. And I've seen that this personally helped me in my NoFap initially. I have two questions for you, Sarvesh.
Yeah.
The first question is that is it okay that I said this yoga on?
Sure, absolutely. I mean, everybody, I think it's not one size fits all. So,
Yeah.
as long as you're able to reach what you want to reach,
Yeah.
I think the process is however it works for you the best.
Yeah.
As long as it's not harming you in any way,
Yeah.
and you're taking right guidance to do it, it's perfectly fine.
Yeah. So if you actually go into one of these advanced meditation schools like the Osho School or Isha Foundation or YSS or Chinmaya Mission School, you will find yogas related to controlling your sexual energy and kind of rechannelizing it to create
Absolutely.
creative energy.
Absolutely.
So the first question was that, is this okay? And I've got the thumbs up from a
Bring it
yogic
on.
brother.
Yeah.
The second question I have for you is the obvious one about NoFap eventually becomes easy. If you practice NoFap, this is what you'll see. Eventually, you'll find it easy to beat your cravings. Initially, it is a little bit difficult.
Absolutely.
So I want to take you back to that 18-year-old version of yourself whose hormones are all over the place. What used to go on in your head, dude, if you saw like an attractive
Well, it
lady?
is unreal. I mean, I'm the all five precepts, in fact, because it's pretty much reverse psychology, right? Or it's nature's wish that it tests your mind power, mental strength. It happens to a lot of you all. I'm sure you say, "Aaj se main diet mein hu." You'll get called for 10 weddings. You'll get called for the best birthday parties. You'll get called for best friends this, best friends that. And you're like, "Abhi aaj se hi I started my diet today. Kyun aaj?" And then aaj nahi, kal se chalu karo. So you'll think, "Acha, kal se main chalu karunga." So then next day you're like, okay, today morning onwards. Morning you would have done it.
Yeah.
Afternoon you would have done it. Evening again you'll be like, "Ranveer, let's go for a party." And then, because when the moment you tend to take a certain kind of a
Path in life.
path stroke goal for yourself, the nature's first rule is, how do we tend to break it,
How do we test it?
test it, stroke break it, stroke whatever you want to call it, for the good. But can this person, he or she, withstand that test and come out of it? Whether it is something that I took up of not lying, I know I've lost friendships for a brief moment because they asked me to say something and I couldn't lie, and I said, "Listen, I can't do it." After that, after about 2 years, all parents only talk to me because they know that they know where their son or daughter is. They can, he or she is in safe hands. There's no problem at all. But it's unreal. I mean, the kind of, whether it's lying, whether it's women who've come across, it's just that rush of things happening when you say you don't want it. It's extremely high, and the control was very simple. I was told to do a certain exercises physically, mindfully, etc., to kind of take that energy and use it in the right direction, which is opening up your creative thought process, etc. So I think asanas that we were asked to do, exercises that we were asked to do, I was asked to do rather, breathings that I was asked to do. I think all of that kind of channelized it in the right direction, but it was not easy. I mean, and I'm a professional cricketer. I was with the IPL for 3 years. I was traveling with them. And at the IPL times, at games, after games, etc. The kind of, that's what I said, right? The accessibility that I had and then following it was the hard part.
Got it.
I mean, there's been crazy incidences in terms of, I mean, I don't know whether it'll be nice for me to say it, but I've had people change clothes in front of me and I've walked out of the room saying, "Listen, sorry, leave me alone. I can't do much."
Yeah. Crazy, bro. Can I also mention one thing as a brother?
Sure.
When I'm hanging out with you, I see that a lot of women are really drawn to you. Like, so because they just trust you. And you know,
I think it's the feeling of feeling safe
Yeah.
more than anything else. And I've got this a lot, even from mothers
got it.
about their daughters,
yeah.
from wives, I mean, from their husbands, because I mean, where they feel safe. And I think for me, it's about seeing people in the right sense. I mean, it's not like I'm enlightened or I don't have emotions or I don't have feelings, but I think I'm conscious about them.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Got it. But do you think that, you know, something like NoFap, semen retention, does make you, say, for the lack of a better word, a little more attractive in terms of a little more magnetic?
Well, I have been told that it will happen. So semen retention does make you more attractive. I don't know whether it happens physically or more
On a subtle
energy
level.
wise.
Yeah.
Energy wise.
Yeah.
I think world is energy, right? The world is particles. The world is everybody. All of us are particles in different forms and shapes. But I think it does make you a little bit more attractive. A little bit more, probably. I don't know how much that little bit is, but you would have seen a little.
Yeah, but bro, okay. Now again, coming back to like a brotherly conversation, when guys are not on NoFap, when they're basically masturbating every day, which is a lot of guys, they view the opposite gender in a certain way. Like, you know, in terms of attractiveness, a lot of times boils down to how the person looks or, you know, whatever, the intellect. So does your definition of attraction change when you've retained semen for so long? Do you look beyond the physical?
Yeah, it is, because if I have to give you some examples, why don't you feel this? Are you attracted to a woman, or if you're a male, or are you attracted to a man if you're a female? What are you attracted to, and why is that attraction? Why is that attractiveness changing from seeing a certain woman or a man of a certain age versus certain man or a woman of a certain age? Why can't you feel the same? Both of them are opposite sex, and then why are you giving more to what he or she's wearing, what the color of the hair is, or, certain body parts, etc., etc.? Why is it that way? So the physical attraction is very, very superficial, right? I mean, what are you planning, and what are you thinking of it, and why is it? And if you're actually trying to do, I mean, what does Vipassana teach you? If people, if you've done Vipassana, in Vipassana there are two parts. There is Anapana, which is focusing on the breath, just the normal inhalation, exhalation of the breath. And Vipassana is focusing on body parts. So if you're actually trying, when you see, I mean, this is another exercise that, you stroke, everybody else can do it. The moment you feel attracted, just see within yourself, how is your heartbeat changing? What feelings are you coming? Where is the sensation? Why is it going to the sexual organs or not to the heart? Why are you not feeling compassion and love for that person? Why are you not feeling empathy for that person? Why are you not feeling that, he or she is also my sister? She could be my mother. Why is that not happening? And, okay, now where do I take her tonight? Or where do I take him out tonight? Or what should I do with that person? Why is that happening? It's a question that everybody needs to know and answer than me telling what will happen. Because if I say what will happen, people listening to this or seeing this will start visualizing, acha, mere ko bhi ye ho raha hai, I know mera heartbeat itna ho raha hai. It doesn't happen that way. I think reactions would be individualistic. But if you actually start thinking that, okay, I need to do, what am I actually feeling? I mean, I'm not saying having sex is wrong or being physical is wrong. No. Why? Why? What is it? And is it happening with multiple people? What is it that you're feeling good about it? What is it that you're feeling? At the end of the day, why somebody doing that? It's for that millisecond of ejaculation time, right? After that, you're tired.
Yeah.
And then you don't feel like doing it for some time, and then you get back. Why? Because the body clock also takes some time to assimilate that and bring back that energy or whatever, right? But for 15 minutes or 10 minutes or whatever it is, I mean, after having a orgasm or after ensuring that ejaculation happens, why are you not feeling it for the next 10 minutes? What's the reason?
You tell me.
I don't know, because I think, I mean, I've never had sex, so I don't know what it does after that. So,
What's your opinion on sex right now?
nothing. I think it's beautiful. It's about how one perceives it. I think it's definitely indeed one of the most beautiful things, because what does sex do? It creates a new life. So I think it is one of the most beautiful things ever. But again, why and multiple people, or is it with one person? Because if you really think, the birth of a baby, the birth of a child is so pure. I mean, because even while having sex between a couple, at least I've heard this a lot. I can't say I've experienced it. Is the thought also of the couple is super important when you're having sex, when you decide to have a child, because it's the child comes up with that thought.
Yeah.
It's the kind of energy gets built in with that thought. How are you feeling? Are you compassionate? Are you lovable? Are you, all of it, right? Because all of us have two legs, two hands, a brain, and so on and so forth, right?
Yeah.
But why are some people better than us? Why are some people in more materialistic terms more successful in terms of whether it's fame, money, energy, stroke what is the reason?
Yeah.
I think it all even sums up with, I'd say, karma, which is your past life, stroke, how your parents have had you in their moment.
Yeah.
All of it matter according to me. Like I said,
yeah.
Different people have different opinions, and I have my own.
No, I've read yogic theories on this, which say that it's a combination of the feeling that the parents are having while having sex, along with the karma of a correct soul. So, if that feeling matches with a level of karma of a certain soul, that soul gets attracted into that family. That's what the world of yoga says.
I've not gone deep into that subject with respect to my Guruji and my teachings, but I touched upon it, and I think what you said is pretty much in line with what I've said.
Yeah.
In terms of thought process while wanting to have that child, because it is one of the most beautiful feelings, right? I mean, you're giving birth to a child, the mother is having that child for over 9 months, and there is a new being. I mean, today I think the feeling of the human being is the most precious feeling on the planet, because and that one life that comes out of a mother's womb, that sperm has already a champion. Because millions and trillions of sperms get released, but one gets into the womb, and that becomes a child or a living being. Sorry. So yeah.
100%. Bro, okay, straight up question. Do you get horny now? Like, do you feel lust?
By all means, yes. If I say I don't, I will be breaking one of my precepts, which is lying. So I can't lie. I do. Like I said, I'm not enlightened or anywhere close to that. I do, but the part is I'm conscious. I know what to do if I get such a feeling, and I know how do I turn that into compassion. How do I turn that to love, and that gets faded away, because
Compassion and love for who? Yourself?
well, for the other person, for myself, and my feeling towards the other person, how do I change that into? You just said some time back that you've seen how women are with me. Why? Because it's not the fact that they feel safe, but it's also the fact that I don't feel anything. That day when you were there, I met that girl for the second time. She was on my lap while taking a picture, right?
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah. Because they know your internal energy, I think.
I don't know about that, but but I think it's kind of a mutual thing that I'm also fine. Yeah, they're just another person. Why don't I have that if a man sits on my lap? What's the reason? Or if a 85-year-old sits on my lap, what's the reason? What is it? It is attracting. What is it? So, somebody said, when you feel that, immediately think of, would you still be attracted if that person becomes super old and is not wearing great clothes, is got wrinkles on the face, and then your mind and your body and your heartbeat immediately changes? Why? It's the same thing. The body is the same, everything is the same. So, and it's very momentary.
Yeah.
It's very, very momentary.
Yeah, I feel we live in a society where people chase physical pleasures a lot. Like, and they say that
It's sad, but
the greatest pleasures are mental and spiritual, but not everyone discovers those.
By all means, yes. The kinds of stuff that's happened to me in my life by not lying, by following the other stuff is just absolutely fabulous. It gives a sense of, wow, I didn't know this also could happen.
Exactly.
Every time something happened, I'm like, wow, this also could happen. This also could happen. This also could happen. Great.
Could you give us some instances like this?
Yeah, I mean, like, I'll give you one in terms of what happened when I was not lying. Okay. I don't lie at all, right? So, this is told, and I wish to believe that the nature kind of, after its testing phase, it also kinds of puts together energy in such a manner where, since you've been practicing it for a long time, you continue being over it. You know, it kind of brings power together that ये भी सही होना है इस बंदे को.
Can you explain this more?
So don't lie, right? I stopped lying, etc., etc. There was one fine day, so I'm metrosexual, which means I love taking care of myself, self-care. I do my pedicure, manicure, etc., etc. And I love shopping, and I go out with friends, you know, women, men, take them for shopping, choose clothes for them, and all of that. So that was a really, really dear friend of mine one day called me up and said, Sarvesh, what should I wear? I have an event. Should I wear black or should I wear red? So I said, I think you look better in red. You should wear the red. So she said, I'm going to wear black, and she cut the phone. I'm like, hey. I'm like, why would someone call me, ask me, and do the opposite? I said, okay, great. So I was in my studio in Chennai. I was talking to, you know, the entrances from behind. I was talking to somebody. Somebody came from behind and hit me hard on my back. I was like, what the hell? Like, who's this? And it was my friend who called me. And she was wearing red. I'm like, what happened to you? Like, why did you wear red? She's like, Sarvesh, because of you it happened. I'm like, what did I do? You asked me a question. I said, wear red. And you said, no, you're going to wear black. You cut the phone and you're wearing red in front of me now. She said, no, while I was ironing my black dress, it got burnt. So I'm like, wait. I didn't do it. I didn't do anything. She said, no, it's because of you. You jinxed it and all of that.
Yeah.
I said, no, this is no way. I'm not. And then I went to my teacher, Guruji, who was in fact sitting inside the studio. And Guruji said, Sarvesh, kuch mat bolo. Like, don't say anything because you've been following this. Nature will transpire in a manner that it'll happen. So don't say anything. So what happened was, when people started asking me questions, I started saying, जो आपको अच्छा होना है वो होगा. Whatever needs to happen for you, that'll happen.
So basically, you're indirectly manifesting things.
I think so. I mean, before this incident, the first time it ever happened was, I thought it was a intuitive, you know, one-off or deja vu moment or whatever people call it. One of my very dear friends was crying because she didn't get her visa to London. So I was like, hey, don't worry, you know what? You'll get your visa. For example, today is November 27th. I told you you'll get your visa on December 25th and you'll leave on December 26th. She's like, are you sure? I'm like, yeah, 100% you'll get it. She called me up on December 25th. Her first question was, for legit, I don't lie, so it's for legit, are you human or human god? So I'm like, what? What are you saying? She said, I got my UK visa. I said, great. It's good. You were crying about it. She said, Sarvesh, but today's 25th. I said, okay, so you said 25th that I'm going tomorrow. I'm like, wow. I said, that was an accident. I mean, oh, great. There's no problem. And I didn't really connect it to that. Then when this happened, when the dress incident happened is when I went and told my teacher, he said, Sarvesh, don't say anything. So then whenever people ask me, will this happen to me, this happen to me, this happen to me, I started saying, listen, whatever needs to happen for you will happen. And whatever happens will happen for the good. So that's it.
Bro, will I become a billionaire?
I don't know. I don't know anything. So like I said, whatever happens will happen for the good.
Okay, cool. Nice save.
Very safe, absolutely.
Intuition, bro. That's something I want to talk to you about. We actually had Shilpa Shetty on the podcast, and she spoke about how just having even a bit of a spiritual lifestyle and a clean lifestyle, taking care of your body, your mind, your spiritual body, can really increase the power of your intuition. For the viewer who hasn't heard this word before, the common word which people use for intuition is sixth sense. Knowing things before they happen, knowing a vibe of a person, knowing the vibe of a situation, understanding moments before they happen, understanding what you should be doing in a particular moment, in a particular crossroads in life. My question to you, bro, is this whole spiritual lifestyle of taking care of your body, not just in a healthy, you're a healthy guy, you're a fit guy, but not just that. You're going one step further and following NoFap for so long, and those 5 precepts you spoke about. So you're taking care of your whole existence on another level. How much has this helped your intuition, and how much has your intuition helped your career?
Honestly speaking, my intuition, yes, it's extremely unreal, and I there are a lot of incidences that has been pretty amazing, like no lying and actually saying that and that happening, etc. So it's been very very good in terms of what has transpired because of intuition. But I think that I have never consciously used it for my career or whatever, because yoga, my teacher has taught me one thing. Guruji has told me that, Sarvesh, what is spirituality? Spirituality in Hindi means adhyatmak, which means apne taraf ana, which means coming to oneself, which means being in the present. So if I'm wanting to be in the present and trying to say, acha, kal kya hone wala hai, and or kind of wanting it to be something, being intuitive about it, or thinking about it, I'm very clearly breaking the practice of being in the present.
Got it.
Right? So I've never consciously tried to be intuitive, but I think when it automatically happens, right? Like when I met you, wow, great. You said, let's do this. And I said, hey, brilliant, no problem. Let's do it. But it's whether you call it intuitive, whether you call it a feeling of good vibe, whether you call it, because everybody has it. Everybody is intuitive in nature. Everybody gets vibes. It's just that some realize it. Because what is coincidence? What is coincidence? I don't believe in coincidence. You're like, okay, I met this person coincidentally. Nahi. You would have thought something at some point of your life for this to happen, and it would have happened.
I always wanted to meet a guy who's followed NoFap for like 9 years and do a podcast. So I think that's what happened.
Yeah, I mean, it's unreal. I mean, if I have to give you another incident, right? I think 2, 3, 4 years ago, when I was in my schoolings, I used to do a lot of theatre. So I've done 4 plays, very, very small roles in the plays, but they were all Ramayana, Mahabharata related, etc. So I used to tell my friends and peer group that I will do a movie, and I would like to do my first movie with Christopher Nolan. Everybody used to laugh the hell out of that. I'm like, Chennai, I mean, where? I mean, you've done a play. Like, what are you talking about, Christopher Nolan? Christopher Nolan, if you're listening to this by any chance. Yeah. So, and they'll be like, what are you saying? I said, listen, why? What's wrong? You think high. And then started my company. And I said, you know what? I want some really cool yoga people investing in me. Like, why Jennifer Lopez and I named a few other people who probably does yoga and are very, very serious about it. Yeah. They laughed their lungs out. They're like, no, Sarvesh, I mean, like, let's think real, man. I mean, where is Jennifer Lopez? Where is your first studio in Chennai in Mount Road? But I have met Jennifer Lopez now. I have flown with her in a private jet to watch her concert. She's an investor in my company. And it happened. Now, some people will say coincidence. Some people will say you've manifested that. I believe I genuinely manifested it. I believed in it and I made it happen. Like, few minutes back, your Mr. Dr. Radhakrishnan said that Malayalis make things happen. And I think I'm one of them.
Yeah. By the way, check out that podcast. Beautiful episode with Dr. Radhakrishnan.
Yeah, absolutely. So, I mean, I think intuition is there in everybody.
Yeah.
It's how you can channelize it, activate it.
It's also blocked due to intoxicants,
Absolutely.
due to negative thoughts.
Yeah. It's one of Agya Chakra is where the intuition, sixth sense is called.
Your third eye?
The third eye is called the Agya Chakra. It's the 6th chakra in the body before you reach your crown chakra.
Yeah.
And if you're able to open it, that's intuition.
Yeah.
And that happens because of various practices, energy, pranayam, meditation, yoga, etc.
Do you have an intensive meditation practice even today?
Yeah.
Like, what do you do? Can you just like run us through it?
I mean, for the lack of a better word, for simple terms, for viewers to understand, it is the Anapana of Vipassana.
Okay.
Which is focusing on your breath. Because I believe there are many, many forms of meditations available today, visualization, sound, twin hearts, transcendental, so on and so forth. But I think the meditation of breath, which is focusing on your normal and natural breath, not inhaling and exhaling deeply. Because if you're inhaling and exhaling deeply, you are doing something. You are inhaling, you're exhaling, you're doing something. But how do you bring yourself to the present? Is to focus on the present, which is your breath, which is your normal and natural flow. When you're trying to focus on your breath, you will get thoughts. Your focus will go to different places, but it's fine. So what happens is you're focusing, thought comes, don't get involved in it. Be an observer. Thoughts will go. Next thought will come, will go. Next will go. Next will go.
Like leaves in a river.
Yeah, absolutely. It'll go. Because why? Change is the only constant. As it keeps going, as you can increase the time span of your focus on your breath. Even if you can do it for 30 seconds, right? And not defocus, you're in like a different stage altogether.
And in your waking life, it increases your focus levels.
Absolutely, by all means. By all means. I mean, 1 hour of yoga a day will sort you out for 23 hours of your day and you'll be so energetic. You don't need X amount of hours of sleep. Between 4 to 6 hours of sleep is great.
Yeah.
Great. Because at the end of the day, quality is critical and not quantity, right?
So for a regular guy out there, bro, you've had so many life experiences. You've kind of toured with IPL teams. You played domestic cricket. You've like set up a super successful company now. 3 quick life learnings, and also you can include yogic learnings within these 3.
See, I think being true and authentic to what you're doing is very critical. Whether be true to yourself, and as much as it's going to be difficult, Rome wasn't built in a day. It's easier said than done. All these other things can come up as comments when you put it up. But Rome was built. Things were done. So I always say the first step to win a 100-meter race is to take that first step, right? So being authentic and true to yourself and not getting too much pushed or
Modified.
modified stroke bombarded by environment, peer group, etc. is very, very critical. Second, I would say is self-care is very important.
Okay.
When I mean self-care is self-care both physically and mentally. Like, just take care of yourself. There's a very thin line between being selfish and selfless. You have to take care of yourself. You have to love yourself to either take care of others, to love others, to do good. I mean, you can say, I can build a great business, a $1 billion company, but what happens after that? I mean, if people hear Steve Jobs' last few lines when he was, passing away and leaving this beautiful world, people will come to know what he said. So self-care is very, very important. And self-care can be different aspects. And I would largely say have a mix of both mental and physical, whether it's gym and yoga, functional training, but do some form of breathing, stroke, mindful practices that can make you believe in yourself, make you come to the present, and just ensure that you become a better version of yourself every day. So that's number 2. Number 3 is whether it's entrepreneurs, whether it's whether it's generally anybody, being a people person is very critical. Right? So I think I always tell people, when they ask me what is it you need to be a good CEO, I said the only thing you need to know is people management. And if people love you, they are here to stay. Employees do not leave companies, they leave employers. So it's very important to be a good employer if you're an employer. And if you're a good employee, your immediate team that's reporting into you or working with you, etc. is very, very important. So if you're trying to kind of just balance these 3 things out in your life, I think a lot of things can happen. When you're taking care of yourself, you are bound to say, okay, wow, things happen to me. I want to spread this word. So why did I start? Because I saw so many changes in myself. I'm like, the best I could do is spread this message. And I said, let's go all out and spread this message. That's how the yoga company was started and formed, etc. Self-care, and third, be a people person. Great. So I think these 3 things just collectively will make you a more compassionate person.
Crazy.
So I always say one thing that, love like there is no tomorrow. And if tomorrow comes, love again.
Beautiful. So, yeah. Sarvesh Shashi, my brother, thank you.
Thank you so much, Ranveer. Thank you for having me on your show. It's a pleasure. Thank you. I'm honored, humbled.
It was a pleasure listening to you, learning from you, my brother.
No, thank you so much.
I'm going to be linking all of Sarvesh's handles down below. Make sure you check him out. Make sure you follow him on Instagram and all his social media. And until next time, I'm sure you're going to be back on the podcast.
Absolutely, anytime. Speaking about cricket, my journey with cricket, journey with IPL for 3 years, what I did with them, I didn't sign for them, but I traveled with them, which was an amazing experience in itself. And many more interesting stories about
Yeah, the yogic life.
absolutely. The yogic life when he's winking. Like, what was the yogic life be? So, yeah.
No, but that cricket stuff is actually one other podcast. We had a beautiful conversation the other day at Soho House. God bless Soho House. Anyway,
Absolutely. God bless Soho House.
okay. See you guys later. Thank you for listening.